Here are some thought patterns that trigger overwhelm. And let me tell you first of all that they're all coming from that naughty inner critic of ours. I know there isn't really a thing called the inner critic inside your head, but I do know that there's a lot of thinking. And here's some of the types of thinking that perhaps you haven't quite noticed yet that are causing those feelings of overwhelm. Here's the first one. The first one is the very idea that you have to do it all now. I notice that overwhelm arises in my body if I start thinking ahead into my day and think of all the things on my list, or even, God forbid, actually look at the list. There's a sense that I have to get it all done. Here's a little cure for that. Focus over productivity. You don't have to get it all done, but perhaps you can focus on a few things today. Maybe one thing to start with right now. What's the one thing that would make the biggest difference in your life, in your business, in your work? Just do that and focus on that for a period of time. And notice how easy it is to celebrate focus. Because when we try to celebrate productivity, we get stuck, don't we? Because we've never quite done enough. In fact, that's the second bit of thinking that causes overwhelm. It's the sense that no matter what you do, it is never enough. It's never enough. You can never satisfy the rantings of the inner critic. It's never, ever enough. It always says it's never enough. That's what my inner critic says the most. It's not enough. You're not doing enough. You're not being enough. You're not creating enough. You're not making enough. It's just never, ever, ever enough. It's so loud that it sounds true, but I want you to know that it just isn't true. And the third pattern of thinking is around the future. The idea that if we don't get all that stuff done, something really bad is going to happen. It's fear, isn't it? If you don't get that done, you're going to be judged. If you don't get that done, your whole business is going to fall apart. If you don't get that done, somebody is going to be cross with you. And of course, we've learned all that in childhood. None of it's really true. So all this is an awareness-raising activity. Just start to notice when those types of thinking arise. No judgment. You don't have to make them go away. Just notice them and see how they can melt away a lot easier than you might think.